What is going on, my Houston Texans family? Hope you all are having a blessed Wednesday. The NFL trade deadline has come and went, and the Houston Texans did absolutely nothing. They weren't buyers, they weren't sellers. Well, they did make a move. They extended linebacker Jake Hansen on Monday. Other than that, nothing else. Crickets yesterday. What did the other two teams of the AFC South do? Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they gave Trevor Lawrence some much needed help at the wide receiver spot. They traded with the Las Vegas Raiders, getting Jacoby Myers, a pretty good wide receiver, is now in the AFC South. But one of the big moves of the day came from the Indianapolis Colts. New ownership. Hey, let's try to make a Super Bowl run. 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell for cornerback Ahmad Sauce Garner. Sauce is now in the AFC South, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you already know how Houston Texans fans feel about Sauce. We've had this debate about, Derek Stingley versus Sauce Garner. We know Derek Stingley is the better cornerback. But nonetheless, it is a great move by Indianapolis, a power move, letting you know that we think this could potentially be our year. Absolutely crazy that the Indianapolis Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL. Nonetheless, the Houston Texans, they're rolling with what they got. And we're going to continue to talk about what happened yesterday. But before we do, episode brought to you and powered by Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Football has never been more exciting than it is now with players like CJ Stroud, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson. Pick on stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to a 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you could win big. Use promo code 713HOU, and you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Sleeper is also giving you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. Just type in 713HOU. Now, am I surprised that the Houston Texans did not make a move? I'm not I'm not surprised. Because General Manager Nick Caserio, I really don't think he has a history of making moves at the trade deadline. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. I also think that maybe the fact that you are 3-5 and your offense is going the way it's going, and maybe you don't believe you can get it right, and maybe you just think that the problems are so far gone that you have to get it done in the off season. But I wasn't surprised that the Houston Texans did not make a move. Um it takes two teams to get a trade done, and I didn't want to be a team that overpaid for a player. Like I said, with the Indianapolis Colts, I do like the move. I like Sauce Garner being there in Indy, but 2 first-round picks is crazy. Nonetheless, am I disappointed that the Houston Texans did not make a move out there? I am. Because like I was mentioning before, maybe this problem is too far gone that you cannot fix, but maybe you could have. You have a glaring hole at the left guard spot that it's so bad you have two guys rotating consistently. How do you want your offensive line to work as a unit when four of your offensive linemen don't know who the fifth one is going to be every other offensive drive? And think about who's being left on the island with two trash left guards, and that is your left tackle, Ariante Ursary. So when we were talking about a veteran left guard, someone who can come in and fill the spot, we were looking at some of the guards from Cleveland. We were thinking those guys could immediately come in, be a veteran presence for this young offensive line, immediately help out your rookie left tackle, and see where this can go. But no, we want to stick with a rotating left guard situation. Right? Let's talk about the running back spot. I love Nick Chubb, but he's not what he was a couple of years ago. I love what he marks, but the Houston Texans, they refuse to use him. It seems like anytime they go against a good team, a good defense, They stopped using their rookies. You talk about the wide receiver spot. You could add more bodies. Christian Kirk is not getting it done. Braxton Berrios is not getting it done. And I got no faith, right, that the rookies are going to do something as the season goes on because they don't use the rookies. They don't use Jalen Noel. They don't use Jaden Higgins. So they're just going to roll with what they got. I hate that I'm talking like this. I hate that I'm talking like I have no hope in this offense, but I really don't, ladies and gentlemen. I can't confidently sit here and tell you they're going to score they're going to score 14 points against Jacksonville on Sunday. I can't confidently tell you that. Not only that, we just seen that Kaimi Fairbairn, he's banged up, and the Houston Texans just picked up a kicker. It could potentially be a slippery slope after Sunday. It could potentially be it for you on Sunday. Which is why, kind of sucks. Like, what if you would have done something? What if you would have brought in one player? All it takes is one to get something going. It's crazy that the Houston Texans are favored against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. That should just tell you what Vegas thinks of Jacksonville. But with this season being potentially on the line on Sunday, with the offense having no drive, no creativity, the fact that they just didn't add anything is disappointing, but not surprising, right? We were looking at Brees Hall all day. He was tweeting everybody, tweeting goodbye to all his players, right? It was like the Will Smith meme where he was the one left behind and everyone else was gone. Um, I'll see you in the offseason, Brees Hall. We'll give you that contract. You'll be our starting running back next year for the Houston Texans. You just know that the confidence in all of us would have jumped if we would have saw a Brees Hall, a Joe Batonio, anything. Hell, even if you would have traded away a player, if someone would have came and offered you a high draft pick for Daniil Hunter, would have been like, whoa. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Texans, they are sticking with what they got. Are they going to figure it out? I really don't know. I really don't know if it's going to happen as early as this Sunday because Davis Mills might be your starting quarterback, not CJ Stroud. I really wonder if the Houston Texans can win this matchup, even with Davis Mills at quarterback. Mills Mafia, stand up. You get another opportunity to be in front of the crowd. But, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL trade deadline came and went. The Houston Texans, they did nothing. They didn't add a player. They didn't trade away a player. They just re-signed Jake Hansen on a one-year deal. The Jacksonville Jaguars brought in Jacoby Myers. We will see him as early as Sunday. And then we will get to see Sauce Gardner twice as he is the big acquisition for the Indianapolis Colts. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How are you feeling about the Houston Texans doing nothing? And how do you think the season really is going to be going forward? Is this Houston Texans team going to figure it out? Or is it just going to be a consistent just letdown from this offense? With that being said, for more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Episode brought to you and powered by Sleeper. I love you guys. Have a very blessed day.